Intro.
Truth and reason light the way in a world where sense seems far away. Standing firm, we call out the lies, bringing clarity to weary eyes. Bringing you clarity to weary eyes. Bringing you common sense and destroying the woke. This is the Ryan Mac Show. Bringing you common sense and destroying the woke. This is the Ryan Mac Show. This is the Ryan Mac Show.
All right. Welcome to the Ryan Max Show. I've got a whole packed show today. With me already, DPB of the DPB Show. You can see us Tuesdays and Thursdays from 4 to 5 on every social media platform. And again, Saturday night, it's awesome to chat. We got Chad Burke and Trent Welsh on too. We're going to talk a whole bunch of stuff. Trump, Elon, they have broken Democrats locally and nationally. Welcome, guys, to the show. We've got a whole bunch of stuff to see. I'm going to start off with Chad. You know this person very well. You're running against her for Town of Normal supervisor, and you probably have some more insight on her as far as her opponent to you. But I'm going to share this video that she had. So she's a huge union person, right?
Mm-hmm.
And she thinks that illegal immigration and deportation will have a massive impact on the unions. And so this is her video let's see if I can get this up. This is Diane Benjamin's post. This is her video explaining that mass deportation would have a negative effect.
In Illinois. You may not realize this, but the labor movement publicly stands firmly against mass deportation because we understand that an attack on immigrant workers is an attack on all workers. Immigrants are our brothers and sisters in the labor movement, and they live in fear when they are exploited, and when they are silenced, all workers suffer. Mass deportations do not make our community safer. They don't strengthen our economy, and they only fuel division, fear, and corporate greed. That's why the labor movement stands with immigrants, not just for them, but with them. Because an injury to one is an injury to all.
An injury to one is an injury to all. Got it.
You need to get her on your show, Mac.
Well, here's the thing. I was going to offer her and Corey because, Corey called me a conspiracy theory at the McLean County executive meeting when I ran for the appointment of the District 1 seat up here in my district. And the first question out of the gate, Corey asked me, "So you have a large presence on social media?" I said, "Okay, sure." And immediately he said, "You share conspiratorial posts and videos on climate change." And I knew right away where this conversation was going. He wanted to bait me into agreeing with him that humans cause climate change.
Right.
And I didn't take the bait. Obviously, I told him that this wasn't an appropriate forum to ask that, and I was here to discuss McLean County matters. But I should have extended the invite to come on our show and have a chat about that. But Crystal Abel, you probably know more completely than I do. I've had a very limited experiences. I've trolled her on her pages, and then she blocked me on all her public pages. Can you give a little bit of insight to the race that you're running? And if you have any information you want to tell us about her, what she's like, go for it. So the floor is yours.
Well, she is my opponent. I know she has no experience at all as far as running anything larger than a household, and I don't I've been told, I don't know her personally, that that's not even done well.
Yeah.
I don't know what she does for a job. I know she's on the county board. But as far as education, I have no idea what type of education she has either. Not meaning that that has any bearing on her qualifications, but I don't think she has anything that would give her any advantage over me, which I've ran from everything from a nursing home of 60 plus employees, taking care of over 100 residents, multi-million dollars, to being in charge of 16 $8 million aircraft, and all the logistics, 30 plus men and all that entails with that, millions and millions of dollars. I have a master's certification in cybersecurity with a bachelor's degree in IT. So, I've done these things. I've ran multi-million dollars operations. I know how to lead. I'm older, and I've dealt with the elderly. Not saying that the retirement center is elderly, but I'm their age.
Yeah.
I'm practically retired myself.
Yeah.
So, I know what they're looking for. I know what I would want in that retirement center. And that's basically a lot of what the township does right now, besides helping the need that they serve.
Right.
So as far as Crystal, I try to distance myself from dealing directly with her, because she has actually posted directly on my social media. I've never posted directly on any of hers. Right. Sonny posted directly on mine calling for a strike after I posted something. I don't even remember what it was. And he wanted all illegals to strike on that Monday back a while back, which was absurd. I mean, to be so, what is the term nowadays, triggered, that anything I post, informational postings that I do, that you call for illegal immigrants to strike, is bothersome to me, that they become so aggressive that they would want this. They bring labor in with illegal immigration. Labor. I was a Teamster, so I'm closer to labor than she is. She has never had anything to do with labor. She doesn't know what labor means.
Yeah.
First off, she was never. I don't think she's ever been a part of unions or labor, other than.
Do you think she's being funded by some of the money coming into the county?
Yes.
For all the things that, her boyfriend, husband, whatever he is,
100%.
He runs the immigration project, as you know, I think. Mm-hmm. Before her becoming a member of the board, what all has she done work-wise that you can think of that would lead to her experience?
I've never heard of her having a job, other than every time she goes to city boards or county boards or school boards, she says she's a director of this board. She's a communist. I have the city council minutes where she says she is the treasurer or some title. I can pull it up.
Some retirement thing that she was big on
that. She was the Socialist Democrat Party here in Illinois.
Democrat Socialist of Bloomington Normal.
Normal.
Yeah.
And every time she speaks, she has to give herself authority of, I'm on the board of such and such. I'm on this committee. I'm on this. And it's like, because she has nothing. She has nothing to back herself up with.
Yeah.
Instead of saying, I'm just citizen so-and-so. You don't have to proclaim yourself. You just speak, state your opinions, and go on. But she has to give herself authority. And that's a part of in my opinion, a psychosis. But I'm not a doctor.
Definitely got some of that going on.
I'm just married to one. Oh, yeah.
I'm just married.
Now this is just a personal opinion because I don't know very much about her. But like most Democrats in a locality running for board or township supervisor position, she's making minimal of the stipend of the county board level.
Yeah.
This position is about a $90,000 a year job.
Yep.
So you can tell right away she has little to no experience at running a city. She's in it for the salary, simply.
In my opinion, it's a great paycheck that
Right.
will fund her and all of her
Activism.
great word. and it would be a shame that more tax dollars would be going towards her lifestyle, her activism, and so forth.
Yeah.
And I know the Democrats really want her in that position because it's the grants that they can give out at the township. That's a huge budget. And just like every NGO that Doge is putting out there, it will be used even more so than it has been in the past for those.
Expenditures.
I can't even imagine what
the thing that's kind of
used
interesting too is there's been a rift for many years between the town of Normal and the Normal Township.
Oh, huge!
Chris Coos would love to have his hands on that grant money.
He would love it.
And the management of the area recreational center and all the other.
Oh, that would be a gem in his belt to get that.
Yeah. So, do we have a good slate of candidates that are running for some of these positions against the Democrats that are running?
We have an excellent slate.
Okay.
Excellent.
And you can head out to the McLean County Republican website or Facebook to kind of see all the candidates. And then there's a candidate forum coming up, or was it last weekend?
Yes, I believe in March. It's scheduled March 15th, and you can view that at the McLean County Republican webpage. And I have some information I'll be putting up on my webpage, which is chad4super.com. That's going to be my campaign. It is my campaign website. It's chad4super.com. But yeah, we have a great slate. Floyd Aper, and Mary, and we did have a little bit of sad news. Ron Ulmer, Ron, his wife, who works at the township, she just suddenly passed away.
Oh my gosh!
I believe it was yesterday, the day before. She was actually due to retire in April.
Oh, hey.
Suddenly passed away. So if we could all, on your time, either express,
absolutely,
concern, wishes to him. It was a sudden thing. Floyd just let me know yesterday, and it was very, very sad to hear because he's running, and I'm sure it was quite a shock to him.
Oh yeah,
we were all very upset to hear that.
Absolutely,
but she was due to retire in April, and so excited about it. She was just thrilled to be ready, after 20 some years working hard, and loved the job, but just it was time. That was sad to hear.
Sad to hear.
David, you also ran for office before, and you guys ran together, I think, in the same seat for appointment at the county board level too, right? So was it 5?
Yeah, well,
and that was a fiasco too, right?
we were applicants. Unbeknownst, I didn't realize Chad had.
No, we both didn't know.
Oh,
I wouldn't have signed up if I would have backed
up. Now I'm kind of glad we did. As many as we can get in there, because sometimes it's better to have multiple candidates.
Right.
Yeah.
But to narrow the selection, yes, it would have. You never know.
You're running against Dan Brady at the state level.
Yeah.
Because he's running for mayor. What can you offer up for Bloomington normal people who don't maybe know a lot about Dan? I don't know how they don't, but obviously he was a state rep. But what is he going to bring to Bloomington? I think you and I talked about this before. Why are we bringing somebody that has been in politics for 50 some odd years into the Bloomington area where he's done the same thing over and over again?
Yeah. What was really cool, I don't know if you guys caught this, but Sean Duffy, the new transportation secretary, basically had a tit for tat back with Hillary Clinton. And she was talking about the young guns that were, part of this whole Elon Musk Doge treasury, then onto the USAID. And Hillary's comment was, what kind of experience do these young guns have? And he fired back, and I'm purely paraphrasing what he said. It's the experience, and this is what I used to say when I ran against Dan Brady. Isn't it time we get beyond the experience of bureaucrats? Because their best efforts have led us to where we're at today.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we're seeing that on the national level, the state level, and the local level. Bloomington Normal in Illinois is broken. One of the last bastions or bright spots is truly the Normal Township that Chad is looking to get that seat as the township supervisor, because they truly do a great job. I don't know why he would want the position.
Right.
I mean, according to Terry Renner, former mayor, I sat next to him at a forum. Terry said they want to talk about the streets and how bad of shape they are in Bloomington. And he said it pales to the underground, the infrastructure of the sewer. And there's probably 140 to 160 million dollars worth of repairs that need to be done on the infrastructure, collapsing old antiquated system that's 100+ years old, especially in that Founders Grove area.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know what Danny Boy, because it's going to be coming around to the season of Danny Boy. He loves his St. Patrick's Day celebration. Then the election will have already started, because once again,
Right.
for everyone listening, if you are a voter in the area, you can start voting on February 20th.
Yep.
Yeah, it's early voting season begins, right? We got a couple seasons like that
It's
around the corner.
It's right now. It's right now.
Yeah,
I'm nervous.
So, what is your
comment or 10? You Blumenshine, I know her personally.
Yep.
She said it best. Dan Brady voted yes to increase things like the gas tax and 19 other tax increases. How's that going to move the needle for Bloomington? It's no different than normal, really.
Yeah.
What are they going to do? The same people it's a spiral.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, it's I'll watch my P's and Q's. It's a cluster. Without the other part.
Do you get a sense that he might be the front runner at the moment?
Oh, he'll win.
You think he'll win?
Yeah.
He'll win the mayoral race in Bloomington. Boca will get his votes, but they'll split between Cody and Boca will split the vote. Dan will still pull the loyalist, the establishment, bureaucratic Republicans who still love to see him at the VFW or the Boy Scout or Girl Scout meetings.
Yeah.
I mean, that's who Dan is. I've said it once. If there's anything that you can really credit him for, is he's probably one of the best retail politicians I've witnessed. I mean, I'm sure there's other people, but and when I say that, that's about the extent of his ability in politics. He's a great retail politician.
Right. Can really market himself really well. And he's really well known in the area. So, I mean, for sure that's going to pull a lot of support. I mean, people are tired of everybody else that's been running. You might as well give it to the older old guy that's been running forever.
Well, but the thing is Ryan, you're right. It's not about moving the needle. It's not about governing.
Yeah.
It's not about the people. It's not about fixing the underground sewage problem or infrastructure problem. It's not about the roads. It's truly about, can he go to the next event?
Yeah.
And people will acknowledge him.
Yeah.
And yeah, he will. And he'll be the mayor. You know what? And I hope to come on your show someday and tell you I was all wrong about Dan Brady.
We will flag it. Flag this show tonight, and we'll call it back out.
Bloomington, and he really came into the light, and he finally decided to do something for the betterment of the community.
So years ago, I will tell you a story that kind of set my opinion on both these individuals the wrong way, just in general, because it was a completely different setting and circumstances for these two individuals to get political. Tim Russman, Woodford County coroner, and obviously big in the Woodford County politics politically. Mm-hmm. He's also the coroner, and he runs the funeral homes in the area. His first wife, Jackie, passed away years ago from a brain tumor. At the funeral home, at the service, he had it was basically a circus, my mom said, and that it didn't involve anything about being about Jackie. It was more about his thing and his himself. And you guys both know Tim, I think, very well. All of you guys know Tim pretty well. And Dan Brady was there, of all people, not to show a little bit of respect to his wife, but he was passing out campaign flyers and marketing things at a funeral. So that I mean, that is as far as I go as far as dealing with people politically. I have about as much respect for somebody doing that as anything else they do. But that's my 2 cents. I know Tim pretty well for the most part. He's all right, but I know maybe you guys are button heads. But yeah, I can't stand that kind of thing. You bring politics into a situation that is absolutely absurd. So now we're.
Then I think a good thing though, Ryan, is it's not about personalities. I mean, that's the character of the person. I really don't care about that,
Right.
Obviously, I don't care. What's the outcome? What have you been able to produce?
Right.
Show me the money, as Jerry Maguire said.
Yeah.
Show me the money. And that's what those guys can't do.
Yeah. All right. We're going to switch some gears here to more nationally. So we know locally, clearly Democrats have been broken by Trump's first couple weeks in office. And JB is one of them because he has a reaction to the recent lawsuit that was brought by Pam Bondi to the state of Illinois and other individuals in Illinois. And he and Speaker of the House, Chris Welsh, have gone on hinged rants, obviously. But here's a good video of JB basically telling all of us that he's never breaking the law. Yeah. It's Donald Trump and it's Ron DeSantis. Oh, my gosh.
We obey the law in Illinois.
Yeah. Insane. All right. So let's hear this reaction.
I think it's a massive effort to distract from what they are doing across the country to take away things that working class, middle class people, families, the most vulnerable really need. Maybe they, as they come and try to attack the state of Illinois, and that's what they're doing. The lawsuits are against laws on the books in Illinois. I mean, unlike Donald Trump, we follow the law in Illinois. Now, maybe they put up with this kind of garbage in Florida, which is the home state of the head of the DOJ. But in Illinois, we have grit. We are tough. We are strong. And Donald Trump has no idea what he's up against when he attacks Illinois. So we're here. We're going to stay here. We're going to keep fighting for lowering costs on people, on building up jobs, on, holding back the tariffs, whatever we can do to make this a great state. We're going to continue to do despite what they may be doing to attack, again, working families across our state.
Oh, so JB follows the law. It is amazing that this guy can still sit here all these years of having mandate after mandate after mandate shoved down our throats, and lawsuit after lawsuit after lawsuit brought against him, telling him, hey, these are all illegal and unconstitutional. The gun ban that he put forth, unconstitutional, illegal. But he has the audacity to sit here and say, yeah, Trump, DeSantis, and Pam Bondi are above the law. I'm not. I'm law-abiding.
I guess the other thing is how about the 2.5 million people that voted for Trump in Illinois, JB? Are you just going to cast them aside?
That doesn't matter.
Pretty big number.
Yeah.
Oh
my gosh.
Yeah.
That is just, it is insane. So the lawsuit, I don't have a lot of information on it, but the lawsuit is a civil lawsuit brought against all these different officials in the state of Illinois. It's on the laws that they have itself, right? So Pam Bondi, the first day in office, she immediately paused federal funding to 220 sanctuary cities. And that was just day one. She's right out of the page of Trump's administration. I'm getting right to work. Sanctuary city laws are, in fact, illegal across this country. And Democrats have been writing them for so long that they don't care. they're the ones that have been above the law.
Right.
They're the ones that have skated by and getting away with all kinds of laws. And California is still ignoring the Trump administration executive orders on transgender, on the fire stuff that he put forth, and so on. So JB has the audacity to call us out and say, we're the ones above the law.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, they've got away with it. Nobody has ever, like, I'll give you an example. Have these two charges or claims that I have going on right now with against Elizabeth Johnston, complaints with the State Board of Elections against the county itself, ethics committee. Nobody else. Why am I the only one?
Right.
I'm not a lawyer. I actually have no idea what I'm doing. I'm just reading the rules and the codes and going through all the Illinois codes and trying to figure it out. And it's not, I mean, it's a pain in the butt reading all this stuff.
Right.
But why hasn't someone else done this that knows more about it? It's because, and my example is, no one else in Illinois has ever pressed the Democrat Party on any of these issues that meant it. They talk, in the General Assembly, and they complain, and they throw the papers up like seen Bose or what's his name down there in Southern Illinois. He threw the papers up in this General Assembly and threw the fit about something.
Oh my God!
Yes,
yeah,
but it's all
in the House,
in the House,
in Congress. Yeah,
yes, but it's all fake.
Yeah.
It's all to get votes or make look good for their people. But I don't see the lawsuits. I don't see the federal lawsuits, because like in Illinois, they're requiring, if you file a lawsuit, you have to go to either Springfield, I think, or Chicago.
Yeah, the judge shopping, as they do, they limit you to exactly where they want you to go.
Right. And is that legal? No. And is anybody challenging it? No. There's one example right there, let alone what we're talking about.
Yeah.
These all need challenge. Like here in McLean County, we can't bring cell phones into courtroom. Lawyers can. What if I'm pro se?
Right.
Why can't I, as a pro se, bring my phone in? I will sign something that says I will not, record other courtrooms.
I've never understood why that is a thing.
It's only in McLean County because the judge here, the head judge, and someone else said that's the way it is. Even though the Supreme Court in Illinois said you can't do that.
Yeah.
They here in McLean County, because they are above the law, said. That's why. And no one's challenged it yet.
No, of course not. Oh my God.
That's why. So, these things need to be audited by us that are fed up. Now that there's a new sheriff in town, we might not go to prison, underground prison in DC if you do these things.
Yep. So here's another reaction that leads you to believe that Trump has broken Democrats around the country, but also locally. Here is Speaker of the House Chris Welsh on the Illinois House floor, pretty much in tears at this point. Blaine Wellhauer is credited for this video that he shared on X.
What's coming out of Washington, D.C. can be summed up in one word: fascism. 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 They should be here to speak out against fascism. We cannot be silent. We must rise up, speak out. We cannot walk out on the people that sent us here. We have to stay and fight.
I find it really, really ironic that we're sitting here in a super majority state for Democrats, and they've been reduced to a puddle of tears in there, crying about all of these great executive orders that President Trump done. These are things that he ran on. He's delivering promises. It's great to finally have an elected official that is going to deliver on what he's done.
Absolutely.
Amen.
Yeah.
What is it? Princess Bride. And I can't remember the character's name, but he's the sword guy that fights. He says, I think the word doesn't mean what you say it means. That line. Fascism. I think he's mistaken. That's not the word. It doesn't mean what he thinks it means.
At least he didn't call him a racist.
Well,
Right.
he was
Oh,
thinking
yeah.
it's another ism. They just pick a word and they think it means what they're wanting, and they make a speech because
Well, it's an insult.
on the
Once
news.
again, it has nothing to do with governing.
No.
You know, Chris Welch or J.B. Pritzker will never talk about. Darren Bailey and I were talking about this earlier today. They'll neither one of those guys will ever talk about the unfunded liabilities in Illinois,
No.
the pension indebtedness, the pension crisis. They don't have a plan. JB will try to, pat his waist. Not that he needs to do that any more than it already is, but he will try to pat himself by saying that he's got 10 credit upgrades. Well,
Oh,
if
please.
you're
Well, when
in the negative,
start down.
Yeah.
you're in the negative 20.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you had 10 come back, then it still means, as far as I know, you're a negative 12.
Right. You're going to come back somewhere.
If Doge came into Illinois,
Oh, my gosh.
or Chicago, or Springfield,
Yeah.
and I'm not to say they don't already have it, and it's possible. I know Open the Books has a lot of the information.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm.
It is amazing that even on a local level, we see it here in Illinois, how bad the reactions and the theater by the left.
Yeah.
Reagan said that if fascism ever came to America, it would be in the form of leftism.
Mhm.
The Nazis. The Nazis in Germany.
Yes. Well, fascism and
Those were
communism
fascists.
are cousins. They're just
Yeah.
one is
National
world.
socialists.
One
That
is
they were
national.
absolutely the worst
Yes.
human beings. I don't know if I've ever called anybody reducing the size of government a fascist. I don't know what that means, but that's not fascism. That's liberty. The governing by we the people.
100%. 100%.
That's just for the life of me. Like, oh, he's a fascist. So he's uncovering your millions of dollars of wasted spilling and trillions of dollars across the globe, but he's the fascist.
Right.
Okay, gotcha. Got it.
Sounds just like Jeffries. That's how he does on the House floor.
Yeah.
They don't have answers. So they
Well,
complain.
and it sounds like you said earlier, Ryan. It sounds just like Corey or
Yeah.
Crystal.
Yeah,
They're out on
exactly.
social media.
Yeah.
They're blasting everybody.
Yeah.
That's the only response they have is to react. Their automatic reflex is start with disparaging another person.
Yeah, because they can't have a conversation.
No, they cannot.
And
They don't
like I
have
said,
answers.
No,
Right.
They have no
because they don't have
idea.
solutions.
Yes.
They want it to go on and on and on and on and on, and
Yes.
they don't care who's paying for it and how it impacts, the taxpayer.
No.
Or as she said, the laborer. How does it impact them?
Right. Yeah.
No.
So speaking of finding answers, Trump has anointed Elon and Vivek, even though Vivek is kind of out of it. He's got his own political ambitions going on. So Elon brought into his tech team. Some of them are actually hired by the Treasury. That they're actually employees of the Treasury Department. So Doge, Department of Government Efficiency. Yes, it's not an official department, but it's an auditing agency essentially outside the government. It's basically auditing government spending, right? So Trump spoke on this his entire campaign. I'm going to look for ways to cut government waste.
Yes.
I'm going to bring in anybody and everybody that can help me do it. What better way to have in the executive branch to have Trump, who has been a billionaire businessman in real estate, and to have SpaceX, Tesla, and Starlink super genius Elon Musk figure out what ways they can make the government more efficient.
100%.
Now, for Democrats to sit there and say that, well, I don't want an unelected billionaire telling me what I can do and can't do with the money. We need to get them less access to the Treasury. When Chuck Schumer is out there on X posting about this and tweeting about the sorrows of the American people getting their personal information from the Treasury Department hacked, Alex Soros is sharing Chuck Schumer's tweets. You want to tell me about an unelected billionaire from another country that is funded through this USAID on our own demise? And I'm going to tell you to shut up.
Right.
You're in charge. You're not right now. There's nothing illegal what Elon's doing.
No.
And as a politician or somebody in government, if you're complaining about somebody finding out what you're spending, then maybe you're not spending what you should be spending it on.
Mhm.
You should be in Washington, D.C. We send you to Congress to spend our tax dollars wisely and fund the projects that we put you in charge of funding.
Yes.
We're getting into a whole list of some of the USAID stuff. I know there's way more than what we can uncover in, possibly an hour. And I got a clip from Senator Kennedy on his rant to Democrats as well. But and Trent can help us kind of get a laugh in some of these financial numbers too, because it's absurd where all our money was going. But think about this for a minute. We pay taxes, right? Everybody here pays taxes. At least we should. We don't want to, but we should. Wouldn't you want to
Maybe not
know
for long.
where our tax dollars are going as an American citizen?
Yes.
Because they're not going to fixing our roads and infrastructure in our country. They're not going to make Americans' lives better. They're spreading DEI, LGBTQ plus premium version, whatever it is, across the globe. I remember some of you guys might remember, we used to fight communism abroad. Those were the initiatives that were maybe worth spending money on. But now you're spending the opposite. You're spending it to spread Marxist values across the globe to countries who are more conservative than even us.
Right.
That don't want any part of this nonsense of the LGBTQ and transgender monkeys and rats. I don't know what you had to hear some of these podcasts, the MVCR show, because Scott Robbins loses his blood over the transgender monkey thing. But
well, the interesting thing is, so
you can't make this up.
Well, I had a chance to listen to Tucker's interview with Mike Benz. It's 2 hours. I encourage you guys to go listen to it. Mm-hmm. Mike Benz, I said unequivocally, hands down, Mike Benz is the authority when it comes to how these interactions work in the state, or I'm sorry, I'm using the wrong terminology, but it's the government's rendition of bureaucracy. So think about this for a second. These countries that would never accept transgender dance or whatever,
right?
That's not the reason they're doing it. And this really turned my head to really refocus on why. You got to realize Liz Cheney and Dick Cheney and John McCain and many others all came out of the model. They're the ones benefiting from USAID.
Right.
Of course, when they go to these countries and they try to inject any of this stuff you talk about, because they really don't care. They don't care about transhumanism. Yeah. It's just it's a vehicle, right? Mm-hmm. They injected that into those countries for regime change. Do you know that the United States has put more or taken more Democrat leaders out of countries than that they've placed in them? Mm-hmm. So when you follow the money, you start realizing it has nothing. So if we're going to be the moral authority, which we should be, because that's what we stand on, then we shouldn't be doing immoral things,
right?
To shift the zeitgeist or how things run in another country. I'm almost embarrassed for the United States knowing that this is really getting deep. What they use the money for. You talk to any one of those leaders in any of those countries, like Haiti or El Salvador, they'll tell you they never received any of that money. That money didn't come through them. That money was rifled,
Well, you look at Ukraine. Zelensky came out recently and said, we didn't get any 150 billion. We got maybe half. Mm-hmm. So where'd the other 75 billion go? Right back in the Democrat coffers.
Well, it's more than just the Democrat. I think it's when we talk about the deep state, it is the established bureaucracy of the people who, once again, were never elected.
Yes.
I love how they talk about Elon Musk wasn't elected.
Yeah.
Well, most of everybody that runs the federal government is not elected.
Right. The administrative state. Yeah.
Yes.
Out of the executive branch. That's what Congress needs to get under wraps too. Okay. So let me go through the short list here of just a little bit of the spending overseas where we're going. And then I'll play you a little bit of the Kennedy clip in which he just absolutely destroys Democrats in Capitol Hill. 7.9 million to teach Sri Lankan journalists how to avoid binary gendered language.
Ridiculous.
Yeah, only one word, ridiculous. 8 million to tell journalists, hey, you can't say that way. That's like Unit 5 saying, hey, we're going to have a DEI workshop that you can only use certain terminology with your students because we have to create an inclusive environment. $8 million in Sri Lanka? Do you know what that would buy in that country?
Half the
Whole
country.
country.
Yeah.
4.5 million to combat disinformation in Kazakhstan, whatever it is. Yeah. 4.5 to combat disinformation.
Million or billion?
Million.
Oh,
Million.
well, that's
So
substantial.
4.5 million
That's a
in
lot.
Kazakhstan. Disinformation. Gotcha.
Who cares? It's Kazakhstan. It's
It's in the
Russian.
middle of a desert. Who
It's
cares?
Russian. It's Afghanistan. It's
It's a Ponzi scheme.
a Ponzi scheme. It is.
2 million for sex changes and LGBT activism in Guatemala. Some of these with the liberal media getting some of this is fascinating. 2.1 million to help the BBC value the diversity of Libyan society.
Okay. We're going to BBC to Libya.
Yeah. So we're gonna pay BBC $2 million to value diversity in Libya. Yeah.
Why doesn't the BBC pay? They're private.
Right. It's pretty much on the king's dole, right? So why are we funding the BBC's efforts to be more diverse?
It'd be like Libya. Them funding our NPR or
what? So I don't know if you've ever been to Libya, but they're not exactly diverse.
It's like one culture, maybe some Africans.
Most of these countries are not as diverse as some of our other developed countries. Yeah. I don't know if they know this or not, but $10 million worth of USAID funded meals went to an Al-Qaeda linked terrorist group. Now we're feeding the terrorists that are killing people in the Middle East.
And I guarantee those were military rations and some
those humanitarian aid packages that Biden was sending over the last 4 years to the Gaza Strip. You know,
yeah.
We are funding that and giving that to not just the people in need, but also the terrorists. We got to feed them too. $10 million worth of aid. Now, I will say USAID had some good things, and what their intention probably started out to be humanitarian efforts to fund feeding efforts across the globe, maybe teaching tribes in Africa, education maybe. But this has gotten way out of hand. And it is amazing to go through some of these lists that Doge has found. And just on a readout level is just it makes your head explode. The billions and trillions of dollars. So $6 million for tourism in Egypt. Why are we paying for Egyptian tourism?
They're very good at that. They've got it down. I mean, they even got the little guy over there that sells the stuff. Meanwhile, his buddy steals all your stuff. Come
see the pyramid. The Americans have funded you to see this trip.
But yeah, and that's the interesting thing, because they are so good at lying and deceiving. None of those things, it doesn't matter what they title. The read only is the big piece. Wait till you see the rest of the story of where those monies actually ended.
Yeah.
Who got
what they were? They were appropriated or allocated for this, but they never.
Where did it go?
Yeah.
What CIA or XYZ operation or State Department operation did it really go to? Who got the checks? Where did it? What pallet end up in Iran? Or that's where I want to see.
Yep.
$5 million for EcoHealth Alliance, one of the many key NGOs that were funding bat virus research in the Wuhan lab. So $5 million to EcoHealth Alliance. But we weren't doing gain of function research, guys.
No,
we weren't doing that. Just another $5 million from USAID. No big deal. 1.1 to an Armenian LGBTQ group. So I didn't know if you know this, but Armenians are full of LGBTQ population over there. 1.5 million to promote LGBT advocacy in Jamaica.
Yep.
I
see a theme here.
2 million to promote LGBT equity through entrepreneurship in Latin America.
No Christian stuff.
No. Why would they have that?
No.
2.3 million for artisanal and small scale gold mining in Amazon. Are we going to get any of that gold? Probably not.
Yeah.
And 5.5 million for LGBT activism in Uganda.
Uganda.
So if you're sensing a theme, not only do we have DEI programs being funded across the globe on our dollar, on our tax dollars, our hardworking money, the LGBTQ community is more funded overseas than apparently it is in America.
They're really pushing it.
We're getting billions across the globe, but we've got people that are crying that they're not getting enough attention here in America.
But $750 goes to North Carolina.
Yes, if you lose your house in a mudslide during the massive flooding of hurricanes, you get $700. Yeah. And if you're California, where your $1 million home burns to the ground through no fault of your own, $700.
$700.
If you're in Maui, you're struck by Thor's thunderbolt. Apparently, you get $700.
Yeah, and you don't even hear about those guys.
No, they get
That's
nothing.
Gone. Yeah.
During COVID, when you were unemployed because they forced you to get a vaccine that you didn't want to, so then you just lost your job. You got money, but there little bit of money.
There are victims, right, Ryan?
Yes, there are victims. Yes.
You've got a clip that of a victim.
There are. So not everything in Doge was good. Yeah. So all the positive things that Doge brought, there were some negative side effects. These are hardworking people in Doge, and God, this guy is heartbroken, man. You tear your heart out, because it's really hard to work on the government dole and feed your family from home. Yeah. So credit goes out to a couple accounts here. Jim Verdi, and if you guys know him, he is the producer of Dan Bongino's podcast, by the way. So if you know of anything of his shares, you'll catch up on this right away.
It's been what? It's been like 2 weeks. 2 weeks. I'm done.
I love this.
Want to talk about regretting your vote? In 2 weeks, I went from the highest high to being unemployed. Lost my job last night. Got a phone call. The repercussions of what Elon Musk are doing with the USAID has real repercussions for real people. For the last 7 years, I have been a shift lead on Project Bus, where we studied to find out if the wheels on the bus went round around or not. Not even elected, gets in, and I'm out of a job.
It's heartbreaking, guys.
What do I tell my family? What do I tell my kids?
She can't keep from laughing.
This isn't a joke. This USAID stuff is not a joke, man. It's affecting real people. And the worst part is, what if we've never figured out? What if we never figure out if, in fact, the wheels on the bus do go round and round? Because nobody cares.
That's great.
Wow.
It's really sad that workers are losing their jobs because Trump and Elon shut down these agencies.
Yeah.
Another agency
we'll
on the
take
chopping
care
block.
of him. I mean,
I know. Right?
I dedicate myself to taking care of that guy. I'm going to send him a check. I'm going to find out who he is, and I'm going to send him a check right now. I'm going to get my checkbook out tonight.
Yes, please. Because finding out if wheels on the bus are actually turning,
I have to know,
is a huge ordeal. I mean,
I mean, we
Kamala
sing that
told us
song.
that the new electric buses had
Do they?
USB charging ports that you can charge your phone on the way home.
But wouldn't that reduce the mileage
Just-
though? I mean, or will it take
It's
from
a
my
yellow
phone?
school bus, Chad.
What if it drains my phone?
It probably will drain the entire bus if
Will that pay
50
my
people
toll?
on the bus charge their phone.
That will pay my bus fee.
Yeah.
See, we're good. I'm
All
good with
right.
that.
So there's a longer rant by Kennedy, but it's a few minutes. I think it's worth playing all of it because if you know anything about Senator Kennedy, he has his way with words and roasting Democrats and Republicans over the years.
He's fair. He's
yeah.
fair.
This is Wall Street Apes on X. Now it's listing all the things that we some of the things that we talked about, but it goes even more, and he really brings it to the Democrats.
I'm madder than a bologna sandwich.
Now, Mr. Musk started with the USAID. That handles a lot of foreign aid for America. American people are very generous. But I'll tell you what Mr. Musk discovered. I find it fascinating. He discovered that the American taxpayers are giving money to Afghanistan. He found that we are giving money to Yemen. He found that we are giving money to Syria. I didn't know that. Some of our foreign aid is going to Yemen, Afghanistan, Syria. He found that the USAID has 10,000 people. 10,000 people, employees. And every year they give away $40 billion. He found that the USAID gave money to support electric vehicles in Vietnam. Our money, taxpayer money. He found that USAID gave money to a transgender clinic in India. I didn't know that. American people didn't know that. He found that USAID gave $1.5 million to a Serbian LGBTQ group called Grupa Izladaji. I probably didn't pronounce that. My apologies. Anyway, they got $1.5 million to, quote, advance diversity, equity, and inclusion in Serbia's workplaces and business community. He reviewed a study and then went and checked it. The study was done by the Middle East Forum. They found that USAID spent $164 million to support radical organizations around the world. We're not talking Cub Scout troops here. We're talking about radical organizations around the world. They gave $122 million of that to groups aligned with foreign terrorist organizations. Our taxpayer money. According to this report in Mr. Musk, the USAID has given millions of dollars to, quote, organizations in Gaza controlled by Hamas. Why aren't my colleagues talking about that? Recipients of the money, they found, have, quote, called for their lands to be cleansed from the impurity of Jews. That's what we're giving foreign aid to. I kind of find what he's found out interesting. He found that we gave $2 million, USAID did, for sex changes in Guatemala. He found that we gave $20 million to produce a new Sesame Street show in Iraq. He found that we gave $4.5 million of taxpayer money to combat disinformation in Kazakhstan. He found that we gave $10 million, USAID did, of meals to an Al-Qaeda-linked terrorist group called the Nusra Front.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, very good. Goes on and on a little bit. Obviously, he included some of the things that we talked about, but Democrats, they're on this USAID front, like, oh, they're cutting off vital aid across the globe. They need this. But they're not even talking about the impact of the actual wasted spending. Like, why aren't they mad? He's right. Why aren't they mad about where this money is going?
Right.
That's the most common sense people want to know, hey, why? There's no logic here.
Who's questioning the people that are writing the check? Who's making the initial decision? Who's putting that program together? And this is all money we borrowed. This isn't like we had a big bank account.
Right.
So it's a failure, across the board. It's sickening. It is funny to hear what it went to, but it's sickening once you think about what it could have done here, solving problems, fixing things,
real legit
putting money
problems.
back in our pockets, or fixing legit issues.
Yeah, it's just
bettering science.
Yeah, I don't
solving
understand.
Cancer.
Well, they can't solve that. They can't cure cancer because then the money stops flowing in.
You're right.
Research,
right.
It's been going on since
there's no money.
1961 is when. Let's see. I don't know who would have been president, but that put that in place. But bottom line is it can be done away with this pen stroke. It doesn't require a vote on Congress or anything.
Right. Mm-hmm. So with the Department of Education too.
Oh yeah.
Was that created through executive order too by Carter, or was that an actual administrative body that went through Congress?
JFK.
So was it Carter or JFK?
I think Carter created the EPA, didn't he?
He was the EPA. Okay. So JFK had the Department of Education.
Yeah.
So is that something that can be closed down like USAID?
Yeah. So once again, that one with the Department of Education, I think there actually has to be more of a formal process because it does have a secretary.
Right.
It's part of the cabinet.
Right.
So it's part of the executive branch's cabinet.
Right.
So I think that I'd have to do some research on that.
So does the executive branch create departments, or does Congress have a role
in any of
budget?
Them?
They set the budget, but does if he shutters the Department of Education, with the work of the secretary?
I think yes. I think he.
Is there a roadblock from Congress to be able to do that?
Well, I'm sure there is.
Clearly.
Well, I'm sure there is from the judicial branch too.
Yeah. So I can expect that if he shutters the Department of Education, the Democrats are going to lose their minds even further.
Oh.
But none of this is shocking to them because he came out during his campaign for the last, he talked about it for 8 years almost.
Yeah.
Things have to change. And he made a plan. DPB and I talked about it before we came live. 4 years of Trump 2016, he had no idea what he was getting into. He ran and didn't know if he was going to win. He won and made a lot of changes, but he also had some mistakes in personnel. He didn't know where all the bodies were buried. He didn't know who to trust. You give him 4 years of Biden, and you give him 4 years of planning to know where everything is and what he needs to do. And now he's come in and just hit the gas full throttle on day one. And everybody's in place. I know there's a couple more, obviously, key positions have to be confirmed. But with that aside, the executive orders that he's undoing from Biden, and then he also implemented his own, like he said he was on the campaign. I would like to see that go through Congress, all of them that he implemented an executive order. I'd like to see, while he has control over the next 2 years, put those in writing. I think Congress did it, or the House at least has passed some bills in the past while they had control that they can push through the Senate now.
Yeah.
But I would like to see these pushed through as laws, because if, God forbid, J.D. Vance or DeSantis or somebody else doesn't win in 28, they can just wipe out every executive order that he just wrote. So I would like to see more Congress involved in some of these moves. But so far, we've seen the full throttle of the Trump administration 2.0. And Democrats, we can play videos all day long about Democrats' reaction to everything he's doing, but you can't even keep up because it's lightning speed and breakneck speed that he's working with. That the minute they complain about, the USAID was found out, now we just lock the doors and Maxine Waters is losing her mind in the front of the Department of Education. the poor bodyguard and security were just standing there helplessly as they were getting railroaded by Democrats. Chuck Schumer's dancing funny in the streets of the USAID building. Al Green's waving his cane in the air, impeaching Trump.
But that's the thing. Those people, where the lawsuits that Pam Bondi put forth against sanctuary cities and sanctuary states are civil.
Right.
We're talking about real criminal activity. It's not civil. I mean, some of these senators and Congress people who've been around for a while, we already know that Bernie was a wellspring of money coming from the different pharmaceutical industry, even though he just claims it was only donors. It was just the employees, not the CEOs.
Right.
Yeah.
Isn't the CEO an employee? I'm kind of confused by that, Bernie.
Weird. I thought he was too.
Yeah. But so I guess that's the real fallout from all of this. And I think why you're seeing these people absolutely lose their proverbial minds, which we knew it was going to happen, because these are people that will be not necessarily making a video about the wheels on the bus. They're going to be making a video on, how nobody knows the trouble I'm in. Nobody knows the sorrow, right?
Yeah.
They're going to be singing the blues in a jail cell. I mean, when you say local, Brian, or Brian, Fred, George, it's getting late, Ryan. It's
I'm getting there. You're holding up really well.
I am. My eyes aren't. My wife calls them my. It looks like I've been smoking at one of Jason's podcasts. I've been down at High Haven or something, taking in a little. What do you call that? Colitis or whatever, wafting through the air.
There you go.
Mike Madigan. Mike Madigan should go to jail.
Oh.
I mean, and will he ever serve time? Will he truly? You and I mean, even Martha Stewart, she went to jail.
Yeah.
Steve Bannon went to jail. Peter Navarro, he went to jail. Yeah. When is a Democrat going to go to jail? Now I know they got what's his name, Menendez or whatever.
Oh, big deal.
Yeah.
That's nothing. He is the least person I care about.
Oh, he's
what he had gold bars. Who cares?
And where did he get them from? Probably got it from the USAID.
Probably.
Yeah. So there's the legend in the comment section. Finally, he couldn't talk about local politics because he doesn't know as much as some of us. But I don't have a dump button, Jerry, so that probably wouldn't have been a disaster. You would have come on and just unleashed. But we will get you on one of these times for sure. Amanda, Tanya, my dad in the comment section. So I can go on and on about all the things we could talk about. We could probably have a 4-hour podcast like Joe Rogan sometime. Just shoot everything. We're 4 guys from the Midwest, raised in the Midwest, talking about politics.
Yeah.
But I do want to leave at least on a note, positive note. And I think we played this before on DPB show, but this is gold. Yeah, I know you guys have seen this before. I don't know about you guys, but I can't take all the winning. I cannot stand it. I've had too much of it, and apparently so has Dan Bongino.
Where is it? Where, folks? I can't take it. Michael can't take it either. I can't. Maybe the people's elbow. You got to adjust it. Yeah.
What is he doing?
I'm not winning anymore. I can't take it.
Rock'em Sock'em Robots.
Still have not broken the Rock'em Sock'em Robots. Amazingly. Although the Trump face on the Rock'em Sock'em Robots is great. I can't take the winning anymore. Folks, my blood pressure can't handle all this winning. I can't handle it. Michael can't handle it. Justin's walking out of the room. He's like, I'm 10 minutes in. No more winning. No more winning today. We don't have enough time in the show to cover all this winning. Where is it? Folks.
That's awesome.
No more winning. I can't take it anymore.
That's awesome.
Oh man, yeah, we could go on and on, right? Chad, Trent, thanks for coming on. DPB, you guys are awesome. I know I don't do as often as our 2-day-a-week show, but I thought I'd bring you guys on of mine and rock it out. Chad, you're running for office. You want to tell everybody where we need to go again to help you out?
Yeah, I appreciate it. Thank you. It's Chad, CHAD, the number 4, super.com. That's my webpage. And then you can also go to McLean County Republican.com. That's the webpage. You can get information on all the candidates. And we just need everybody to come out and vote. That's what's important. And you can vote early starting February 20th. So let's definitely just get out, vote, and let's win this township, because this is our last line of defense here in McLean County. So I appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Ryan.
DPB, we can find you where?
Oh, yeah. Hopefully you guys tune in, like, subscribe at Rumble, YouTube, X, and Facebook. Tuesdays through and Thursdays 4 to 5. We go live. Ryan is most of the time he's with me. So jump on, like it, subscribe, and just let us know. We do this because we want to share ideas and we want to keep the conversation going.
Yep.
That's right.
All right, Sleepy Joe, I'm calling on you to pray us out.
Oh yeah, a little prayer.
Yep, let's do it.
Thank you. Oh wow. Dear eternal and gracious Father, we just thank you for this day. At the end of the day, Lord, it's always good to greet you in the morning, but it's also good to acknowledge you in the evening as we set ourselves into a pattern of sleep. Lord, let us sleep in heavenly peace tonight. Lord, we do rest easier knowing that we have a man in the White House that truly acknowledges God. We don't have to judge where he stands in his relationship, because we know he at least acknowledges you as the supreme being. He even said it himself during the prayer. You know that, Lord. He cried out. He said, I'm much closer to God than I ever was, especially in light of what took place in Butler, Pennsylvania at the Trump rally, where he assassin's bullet just basically, a head turn away from killing what would have been the next president. But now he is the next president. So we thank you. We thank you for all of our leaders. We thank you for elections. We thank you for Chad and his willingness to put himself out there, and Trent, his willingness to be here with us, to be part of the Ryan Mack Show. I thank you for Ryan Mack. Thank you for the ability to have these conversations. Lord, we need you more than anything else, because without you, we truly have nothing. You are everything. We thank you in the precious name of Jesus. Amen.
Amen. That's some good stuff. Thank you guys for coming on. You guys can hang after I close up and we kind of sign off together when we're done. Thank you all for tuning in. Those of you that tuned in, I had a pretty good following tonight. Thanks for you guys. Tanya, Amanda, and Jerry, thanks for coming in on your thoughts. This has been the Ryan Mack Show on Rumble. We'll see you next time.